Europe's biggest problem is distribution. All of the talented people are spread across London, Berlin, Paris, Stockholm, Barcelona, and so on. The US has it easier, like 90% of their technology ecosystem is all in the Bay Area. That's why it's super important that we have those occasions that at least sometimes bring all of those people together in one place. One of these occasions is the Slush conference. Once a year, they bring over 10,000 people together in Helsinki. I thought I cannot miss it. I scheduled a few meetings with interesting people who are there. I just want to show you around on what's happening. So follow me around. But before we start, one conference a year is not enough. That's why we set out to do our own conference. We're going to bring together 700 people, only the very best AI builders from Europe, and do a one-day applied AI conference. So a day of the very best, sharing how they implement AI in production. We have the CTO of Legora, for example, speaking, people from all the relevant applied AI companies in Europe, but also from the developer infrastructure vendors who will be there. So the very first 100 tickets are now online through the link in the description. Check it out. 700 people, 28th of May in Berlin. Ask your employer that they buy it for you. Yeah, now let's go. Let's dive right into Helsinki. I just landed, got here to my apartment where I'm staying, which is luckily right in the city center, and I think the majority of events are around the city center, because how such a conference like the Slush conference, which is bringing all the people here together, works is that yes, there's the main conference, and I'm also gonna go there, but the most important part is the side event, and there are a lot of them. I just landed and I can show you, like, this is what we have now, and there are like 3 side events there, and then there's the full evening of side events. I think I'll try to go to as many as possible. The challenge for this video is get as many cool people as possible in front of the camera, talk with them about Europe, talk with them about why they're in Helsinki for Slush, because essentially what this is, these like 2-3 days here in Helsinki is like actually the biggest and gathering of the most relevant people in Europe, even with some people coming in from the US. But the most important part is that all the relevant European players are here. And I thought what would be better for me as a theme for a video than to kind of follow me around through these days. So plan is, today's Tuesday, there's one event which is half done already. I'll check if I go there. Then there's another kick-off drinks by a VC fund called HV. Then I'm gonna visit the Project Europe people, talk with them. Then tonight there's first a dinner, then there's a reception by OpenAI and Slush from the conference, and then there's the Lovable 1-year birthday party. So a lot of stuff for today. Tomorrow then there's gonna be the conference, but also a morning event which I'm most likely gonna go to, and then to the conference and so on. So a lot of different stuff. I'll just take you with me, and then in the end you're just gonna see what's worth seeing, right? I mean, that's all there is. Yes, essentially that's it. And I also have to eat something. But yeah, I quickly call Leon, who's at the one event that is already half done. And so I can ask him if it's worth to get there. Or if it's not. Hi.
Hello, sir.
Hello, bist du bei diesem Mais- und Trillion-Ding?
Ja.
Lohnt sich das noch, dahin zu kommen? Weil ich bin gerade erst im Hotel angekommen.
Ich würde sagen, es ist wahrscheinlich schon relevant für dich.
Okay. Okay, dann bis gleich. Ich sollte in 10 Minuten da sein oder so. Bis dann. Ciao. Okay, so he said it's actually worth it to go there. If Leon says it, we do it. It's very, very, very cold in Helsinki. What did I expect? Now we just need to find the entrance. So what I did is I walked around the building, went into the other side, so that one guy then took me again here, but he had this chip to kind of, you know, put there. But yeah, mission 1 accomplished. First side event looks like we're here. So we made it out It was a fun event. It was hosted by Hummingbird and Kosla Ventures, two quite famous. I mean, Kosla is a way more famous VC, but Hummingbird is also, I would say, a very known and considered good VC fund. And they try to bring together like the young generation of builders in Europe, and that's why I thought I cannot miss and have a look. And actually some familiar faces were there. And now I'm heading to Kitty and Jade from Project Europe to have a quick chat with them, talk to them a couple of times. Never met them in person, so I thought maybe a good opportunity to do so. And what they're doing with Project Europe, I think it's a quite interesting project. But yeah, stay tuned. Let's check it out. So I'm now here in the lobby of the hotel where they should have their kind of office for these days. I think what they did is just they rented like a meeting room stuff in a hotel and opening it up for founders or anyone who wants to come by. But they just arrive in like 2-3 minutes. I wait here and then we have a quick chat with them to learn a little bit more about what they're up to, why it's important, what they're interested in. So yeah, let's go.
They are. Hello. This is Dana from Europe.
Hello, hi.
So it is.
Hi, Bela. Nice to meet you.
Hello.
Hi, Bela. Nice to meet you.
So you put devices in. What is the colour?
It's really nice. It has like a built-in gimbal.
It's a German type.
Was it your team bedding area?
Nice.
Yeah, we've had founders taking phone calls from there.
Yeah, we turned the cloakroom into a phone.
So we are a fund, technically, backed by 200 of Europe's best founders, also a few of Europe's best funds, I guess, so 20 VC Portland and adjacent, and we invest in under 25 building, sorry my voice isn't shouting too much, under 25s building really interesting deep tech, actually varies, like not just deep tech, but interestingly about 70% of our team so far are building something that has like a hardware element, which is kind of cool, and then we bring them together every couple of months for a co-work where they'll work together with different teams and bring in our different LPs. So it could be anyone from like Joel at Sana to Matty from 11 Lab, and it's essentially just like for us it feels so much more like a community than just a fund.
Okay, so that you don't have to pay them from your management fee because
Well, I mean,
otherwise...
like, our management fee basically just covers our operating costs.
Okay.
And so what we've committed to is actually like a very capitally intensive, expensive thing to do. Like, bringing together like 20, 25, 30, it'll grow founders to like one city and like all the costs associated with that. Like it's huge. And so we work with really cool partners to pull those things off. And yeah, like we joke, I said earlier, like we're like glorified events planners. We kind of are. Our job is to index a network and from that network identify great founders, put them in touch with the people who are going to be the best mentors for them, best investors for them. Like our job, we're kind of like grease on the wheels. Like our job is not to just build a high status big brand. Our job is to just like we'll do everything from ferrying burgers to people at hackathons to booking people's flights to come and join us at different things to like I feel like we're at an inflection point now where the future actually kind of becomes wild, where it's no longer solving like it's no longer implementation problems, it's actually situations where we're kind of reimagining how the world works. And I know like Peter Thiel talks about it, we've had like no 0 to 1 transformation since the microwave or whatever else. Like we are actually in an era where we will start to see those 0 to 1 transformations, and it's not a case of like suddenly understanding deeply like how to implement technology in like nuanced commercial instances. Is actually a case of stepping out or not even stepping out, but like never having been part of the dogma of an industry and looking at ways to totally reimagine it. And I do think that technical founders will be better at that because they're not people who are working based on like recomposing dogmas from different industries. They're looking from the outside in, thinking from first principles, which is like an annoyingly overused phrase, but they're thinking about like, okay, what is the most effective thing to do here? So basically like TLDR, the future is wild. The only people who can think about like wild futures are people who've never really been inside the reality, and maybe we'll see like totally novel technical approaches to what the future looks like. Yeah. So like, who knows?
Who knows? Okay, no, that's pretty cool. Okay, so that was it with Kitty. We didn't got Jade on the camera, but she was there as well. And now quickly recharging at the hotel, in my hotel. And then, let me check. And then we'll go to a dinner, and then I think we go to another like party, and then we go to another party. A lot of different stuff to do. It's still very, very cold here. First impression, the Project Europe people, they're just very nice people, actually. So, game plan for tonight after leaving Project Europe headquarters for this week in Helsinki, I think. Yes, now going quickly changing, then going to a dinner. I think it's even an investors event. I don't know what I do there. Then afterwards going to an event from Slush and OpenAI together, which I don't know what it is. I think it's a drinks event. It's called Private Reception. And then I'll go to the Lovable birthday. This is it for today. Tomorrow the first event that I go to, starting at 7 a.m. So cannot stay too long tonight, I guess, but it's really nice. I hope through this video you get a little glimpse into why those things, such as those conferences, are actually an important thing for ecosystems, or like especially for Europe, where you cannot meet all the people at once every day, but you need those occasions where you go somewhere and meet everyone, right? And not only the people from your city, which you maybe sometimes see, like in Berlin, but also other people from other ecosystems that you may met in the past. You may not met them, but get to know them here. There's so many people. There are actually people that are from the city I'm living in that I met at conferences, and through that got to know them, and we're now friends. So I think that's pretty much it. So this video will not so much be around Helsinki as an ecosystem, because I think the Helsinki ecosystem, it is limited. I mean, yes, you can build a big startup from here, and yes, I'm an advocate for distributed European ecosystem, right? But there's some sort of cutoff you have to do, right? I mean, if you are someone who's now like, oh yeah, but in my 300,000 population hometown, I want to build a startup ecosystem. It's like, yes, maybe, but usually it's better to go to the one big ecosystem of either your country, or if your country is not that big, to the next one, right? I mean, we in Germany have even 2 ecosystems, and I think it's not so beneficial. We would combine Berlin and Munich. That would be actually huge. It's not possible, right? Because it's just an organic ecosystem, or a pretty organic thing. So yeah, so it's not going to be a lot about Helsinki. It's going to be a lot about the people who are here and why it's worth it to bring all the relevant people into one city at one time, and you know what comes out of it. So yeah, see you. I don't know how much I can film at the dinner, but maybe see you there. So, when I arrived, it looked like just a big party with a big line, but it was actually quite cool. A bunch of the people from the OpenAI team were there. It was really lovely to meet them. And now I'm heading to Lovable. I already saw some people who went there, so now I'm gonna go there as well, and let's see how that one is going. That's gonna be the last stop for today. I mean, it was a long day arriving here, then going straight to the first event and so on. It does maybe not look like that, but it's pretty draining to go from event to event, talk with a lot of people, shake a lot of hands and so on. And there's always this constant flow of like networking also with new people. I mean, that was quite nice at this event here, that I think all the people I talked to, I already knew them, which is way less draining than to always like tell the whole story again of who you are, and like then listen to their small talk story, and like it's fine and so on, but like it's not particularly a lot of fun. So let's go to Lovable. I think I'm gonna know the majority of people there as well, so it's gonna be also fun. It's right around the corner from where my hotel is, so that also makes it way easier. Let's go. Goodbye. So we're out. It is, I have to check, yeah, 1 a.m. in the morning. It was not really a party, I would say, more like a networking drinks thing. and I have to get up very early because the breakfast event I go to starts at 7 a.m. So I'm definitely not gonna make that. But I met a few cool people. I think I lined up some interviews for tomorrow to talk to a few of those, then in person, to talk to them again then, because it was a little loud, so I couldn't really properly talk to people. So yeah, I'm gonna talk to a few more people tomorrow. Yeah, for now there's nothing left. See you tomorrow. Hopefully not that tired. Good morning. It's the second day. Do I look a little bit tired? I would say so. But we are heading out now to the one side event that I go to in the morning, before then heading to the actual Slush venue for the first time. And this is a kind of breakfast by 3 different VCs. And as I think they're kind of German, it's like a German Bavarian breakfast thing. So let's check it out. Then afterwards it goes to the venue. Looking forward to it. Yeah, let's go. So we're now leaving. There's actually going like shuttle buses from this pre-event to the actual venue. So to save some money, we take them and not a cab. So we're now waiting for it. Should be here in like 2-3 minutes, and then we go to the venue and then we check it out to, I guess, get my ticket somewhere. Then we check out the Slush. First time at the venue. I mean, there are a lot of people who are actually coming in town who are not even going to the actual event, to the actual conference, but who are just here for those side events and not really the main conference, because they're like, especially like the investors, because they're like, I mean, I anyways only meet the other investors and they're also at the side events, so they don't really need the conference. Let's see what the conference has to offer. Okay, we made it to the venue. Now we just have to get our badge. Because we are media, as it seems. So yeah, let's go here. It's this entrance. Hello. So there should be a media area to also put our stuff. We have to find it, and then let's see if we meet some interesting people. I mean, you can see here that here, for example, a lot of startups that have their booths trying to, I don't know, I guess sell stuff. There's a stage somewhere there. I have no idea where to go. I have actually no idea. Okay, for example, this is like a booth from Italy, Opportune Italy, promoting Italy, I guess. So, okay, I don't know. Meeting area, founder stage. I guess this is the wrong direction. I have to check. I'll see you. German pitching stage. So yeah, I just need to put my jacket down somewhere, and then we're just gonna go around the booth, try to talk to a few people, and then later today we go back into the city. So just to give you the game plan, 2-3 meetings scheduled with people. I'll try to get more into the camera, but I'm not sure how exactly to do it. But yeah, this video, as you may see, so it's a mix out of just showing you a little bit about like this conference and how a conference like this looks like, but also the side events, but also just like actual like learnings and insights from people who are here, because there are just a lot of people here. Let's check if we can meet some of our friends from Stripe here. Ellen is here. Yes, she's there. You may know her from the last video. I got rid of my jacket, and now we're gonna have a look at what is happening here. Just walk around, show a little bit the exhibition, and then let's see if we catch someone we want to talk to. Otherwise, we see us back later.
So my advice is usually you can do a very nice pre-seed or seed in Europe. If you have a lot of money, you have a lot of great investors. You should be careful though. You should take the one that are really thinking global, not really thinking in terms of your local countrywide market. So you would need at least, I think, two, or like one which is not in your original market, so that you kind of start to have this international expansion.
That you don't start too local.
Too local, that's the main risk. But other than that, I think you can do a nice pre-seed here, and then you'll, if you have a good traction, if you have a good product, you also won't have any problem raising from the US. So you don't have to rush raising from the US for your very first round, I would say. Yeah. a hardware company called Poland Robotics, who is nicely one of the very few open source hardware company in robotics, and to try to make our own robots. This being said, I said outside of all of this, which is how we see that globally, which is robotics is going to be huge, and we want to have an open source. I also think that Europe is really well positioned for that, for the reason that you say. Like, in particular in Germany, there is a very strong, I would say, like, you know, network of companies who are not afraid of going to hardware, or who are building right now, who are manufacturing. Like, there is like this amazing, and the same in other places, right? In the UK, in London, you have amazing talent pool. In Oxford, you have extremely strong like robotics, like self-driving companies there. You have like a lot of like, I think, very strong talent pool there. Zurich is another one. Our research team is mostly in Switzerland, in part because Zurich, the ETH.
Oh, it has a very strong robotics.
Yeah, there is now new robotics labs, for instance. Very exciting. There's a lot of very exciting robotics companies. There is all the ingredients here. You have talent. You have like a market where you can actually, you know, start shipping. Because the main problem in robotics right now is that I think in Europe there is already a market that's actually interested in this. The price for the workforce is really high, and that's like a challenge as well. So there's a lot of things that are, I think, well positioned for Europe to actually take the lead in robotics, and that's a very good thing. The main danger I see is people thinking, okay, I'm gonna start building for my own little market, and then I'll go global. And the thing is, when you go global, like somebody is already there. And usually that's a US company, and that's too late.
Because they think global from day one, because their market is so huge that you can. And I mean, usually when people here talk about going global, they talk about going to the US, right? They usually then not thinking about going to South Korea or like, you know, other markets, but actually to the US. Okay, we're at the very end of some other side event from, I think it was Stripe, Sequoia and Clay. That's at least who was on the stage. Very interesting. So it was like a panel and then some drinks, but it's already pretty empty now. And I found some fellow Berliners, them, and we are now gonna continue to the next event. I now have confirmed that tomorrow morning I'm gonna meet Jeanette from General Catalyst. That's gonna be a nice conversation that I'm gonna take you with me on. That's kind of it for, so yeah, the rest of the evening is gonna be one more side event and then the Visionaries after party. So let's go, see you there. So there was the Lakestar Drinks event, also just a big like get together of like venture capitalists. And now from here we're gonna move to Visionaries after party, which Visionaries Club is also a VC, so a lot of different VC stuff. VCs are the main ones who organize events because they have budgets and so on. So we go there, and I'm now waiting for the others with whom I'm going there to get out here, and then we can go. So this is like the venue. So we are on our way back to the hotel to recharge for tomorrow. Tomorrow is gonna be like the last proper day here at Slush. What the hell is that? That's like a proper slush weather, I guess. I mean, what did I expect? Tomorrow, I gotta get up early. Meeting with Jeanette, who is, I think, leading all the Europe investments at General Catalyst, one of the biggest venture funds in the world. And talking with her about Europe, and especially if the view on Europe of not a European fund, but like a global fund, and how they see the ecosystem here. And yeah, we gotta recharge for that. See you tomorrow. Good morning. I'm on my way to meet Jeanette. I wanted to get a ball, but as I think everyone is going to the Slush venue, it would have needed like 15-20 minutes for them to arrive and then the way. So now I have to hurry up a little bit, walk the way. I should be able to make it in time. I'll meet Jeanette, and then from there I will go to the Slush venue. And I just remember that I forgot my badge, but whatever, it should work. Maybe I can get a replacement badge or something. Not enough sleep again, but I'm actually feeling better than yesterday morning. My voice is a little bit gone, I think, because all the venues that we were at yesterday, like the Lakestar Drinks, the Visionaries thing, the party, you were talking to people non-stop and it was so loud that you had to like scream all the time. So now my voice is gone, so I got better in speaking just normal levels. Why do you actually yourself
care about like making this better?
It's a good question. So I actually come from a traditional family business background in this work. You know, like I'm fifth generation in my family business, and so I always was fascinated with my grandfather, who was this like very inspiring entrepreneur. He was actually an artist before becoming an entrepreneur. So he was super creative. So I grew up with that kind of buzzing sort of idea landscape around me of what technology innovation can mean. And so when I'm similar to you, I didn't study anything technical. You know, I did philosophy and economy in university. And so, you know, like basically after I finished my PhD, I was like, what's happening? You know, they're basically losing out big time when it comes to digital technologies. And at the time, the belief was we could basically bring all the folks that I grew up with, you know, this whole Mittelstand, you know, German sort of industry that I knew many of the next gens of. I think it was a very helpful lead for many of the sort of emerging technology founders. So that's why La Familia was started back in 2015. And so that actually was a really tough uphill climb at the beginning because nobody wanted to give us money. Everyone was like, really? Like technology? Germany? Europe? What? Venture? I don't think that's going to go anywhere. We actually managed to launch the first fund, and then, you know, we back home with like Deal, like Bad Intuition, like Rosonio, and had really a lot of wins. So basically backed 6 unicorns and 1 decacorn in the first 7 years. And we're actually on a really good sort of standalone trajectory. Hemant is actually one of the first guys I met when I started in venture. Because like I knew that I knew nothing, so I went to the US. I met him, folks like Elad Gil, like Daniel Gross, like people that were really kind of influential in the way that they shaped my understanding of the industry, my thinking, helped me get connected. And so I helped them a lot kind of get European market access for their US companies. And at the same time, I was really very keen to see like how do we help European companies kind of get connected, because what they basically need is talent and distribution. Basically the two things, and those things don't self-combust in Europe. Like you actually need to shape an ecosystem that allows for that, and you have to create this microcosm, this platform that connects. Hemant actually came to this conference that I've been hosting since what is it now, 10 years, that I actually launched together with my friend Benny Obermann, who was then Deutsche Telekom CEO, now chairman of Airbus. But if you think about AI, there's a huge opportunity now to kind of take that labor, melt it into an AI application that is essentially an application and compute. And so if we're able to kind of effectively shape an ecosystem around that, then we're going to be able to onshore a lot of that productivity back onto European ground. And you need to close that gap to the US. Like right now, there's a gap of 12 trillion in European and US GDP, and that essentially started diverging the moment, you know, big tech started rising. And that 12 trillion is essentially all US and MAGA market cap. You know what I mean? That's essentially what it is. And so if you extrapolate that, then the only way to actually change that trajectory is to start enabling our existing companies to become better. And the second thing is to make sure that we're building new champions in that context. And so there's a lot of companies that are really set up to win, and that are really, you know, hammering home huge revenues, that are engaging with, you know, global customers. We just discussed, you know, Legora, Palloa, Mistral, Helsing. I mean, they're really just hitting the ball out of the park in terms of like what the potential is of any given European company that really has that talent density and that talent pool.
Okay, so meeting with Jeanette is over, and I had to really rush to get to the Slush venue again. It was amazing. I mean, she is operating on such like a strategic level, so humble, so smart. It was really like fascinating, but I really had to rush because I have a meeting with Ilka from Supercell in I think 10 minutes, and I first have to check where it is exactly in here, and if I get in without my badge because I forgot it in the hotel, it should be no problem. My voice got a little bit better because Jeanette gave me like this Gilo revoice kind of stuff. Yeah. Okay, after a little bit of discussion with the staff, I got my new badge. There was a proper way to get a new one, but you would have been lined up for like, I don't know, it looked like 30 minutes or so, and I didn't have that time because I have to run a little bit. And now I have a new badge, and I'm now looking for the meeting area, and it actually worked. Good thing of having an interview scheduled with a big name. They can just like name drop and to get what you want. It's like, I don't know if it's a good thing, but it's a good thing for you because now you're gonna see the interview. Otherwise I would have missed it. So lucky you. But what do you think is the bottleneck that Europe missed this last generation of big companies? Like, I mean, yes, we have a few, but like if you look at the 100 billion plus software company, like I mean, we have Spotify, which is also a Nordics company, but like I think no other in this last generation. We have SAP, which is very old. But if you look into the US, they somehow made it work, but they have a few of them.
right? That is really like big.
Well, I think when you sort of compare US to Europe, like the one thing to keep in mind is that in US they've had this ecosystem for a very long time, and in Europe we haven't had it like that long time yet. But we're gonna, if you look at sort of the momentum that we have right now, you're gonna see like this $100 billion, probably like $1 trillion companies being built from Europe, like for sure. I mean, there's no question about it. But it just takes time.
When you started, I mean, I think mobile games in general is something that is like global from day one, right? And I think what I see as a big issue for a lot of like, European founders is if they tend to Europe, then it's kind of a black and white thing of them not building global from day one, right? Like in gaming, I think you tend to do this anyways because it's like I guess in your case, you put it on the App Store and it's like available everywhere.
Yeah.
In a lot of, and I think maybe this is changing now with AI, but I don't know how you see that in a way that like, because for you it's maybe just inherently like, okay, everything we do is global, right? But I don't know how do you see the same thing with European founders, that they tended maybe especially in the SaaS era to build too much for like local markets, and this way didn't like got the outcome velocity of like just huge?
Well, I don't know, like if I look at some of the companies that I know, like say Pigment for example, and I think those founders, they think very global and from the day one, and they actually are building their businesses like for the US as well.
Yeah.
So I think maybe that's also a generational thing, something that has changed in the last sort of 5 years.
Okay, but it's an important thing, right? To be global from day one.
Of course.
We got I was yesterday at an event. I think the chief revenue officer of Stripe, who said like it's completely different than in the SaaS era. That now I think the average AI company that is working on Stripe is active in 50 countries in the first year, and in 80 on the second year.
Right.
Which is like, I think what she said is that this is like a. Was it back then that you just put it on the App Store and it's active everywhere, or like how was it?
Yes, and of course, like the benefit of coming from a small country like Finland is that you would never build anything for Finland. You're sort of forced to think global from day one.
Now I'm trying to exit this investor area. They have a huge view. I should have captured it. I think I don't have it on the video. He's very cool. I think it's from this interview, it's really fascinating that I think what makes Supercell succeed, and what he kind of pointed out, is that like operating in a small market like Finland and in a niche like mobile gaming, with all the structures that it has, meant for them to be global from day one. I think if there's one thing take out of this whole trip, is that the common denominator of successful European tech companies is that they're global from the start. That you don't like overfit for a local market or so, but that you really build it global from day one. I think we had a bunch of very interesting interviews with very amazing European founders and entrepreneurs. Yes, I think I captured a few last impressions of the conference, but this trip so far has been amazing. I can definitely recommend coming here for maybe the next year. Get a ticket for Slush. Don't get a ticket for Slush, just meet people outside. But I think it's important to go to a lot of the relevant side events. I think this is one of the very important things. That's pretty much it. So I'm not sure if this is going to be the end of the video, but if it's going to be the end, thanks a lot for watching. It was a pleasure taking you with me through Helsinki, through the side events, through the interviews. I hope you, took something out of it, whatever it is. See you anywhere in Europe or at the next Tech Europe video.